Okay. So now what we're going to do is to add event listener to the form on submit, right? Okay. Now let me just show you what I said we'll do in our next class. Let's just do it here. So I don't think it will give you much problem because while working with jQuery, why making reference to elements, just like you are doing your CSS. That is one thing that makes it really very easy to learn. Just like they are combining CSS and PHP together. Because there are some concepts in PHP that we brought in, and some concepts in CSS that we brought in. Okay? Now, for us to do in vanilla, we do document.getElement by ID, right? But here, we will just do dollar bracket in our script, sorry. First of all, open our script. Okay? Open a script here. So we say dollar bracket. Okay, so we say dollar bracket like this. We put a quote. Now inside the quote, if we are targeting an ID, we say hash, just like the CSS. If we are targeting a class, we say dot. Then if we are targeting the element itself, we call the name of the element like p or img or forms, depending on the element here. Just like the way you want to put it in your CSS. Okay, so in this case that we are targeting this form, okay, since we are targeting this form, sorry, it's supposed to be from contact. Okay, since we are targeting this form, what we are going to do here is we'll say hash because that is an ID, right? Hash the form name. Okay, now for us to do add event, normally vanilla will say dot add event listener. Okay, but in jQuery we can just say dot submit, automatically it gets the event. We don't need to add event listener. But if we must do that, we can use the on method on. Okay, then we pass the variable inside, we pass the event rather inside. So we say submit. Okay, this one is closer to your vanilla. Then you say function. Okay, just the way you do your vanilla add event listener. Okay, so this on now will be like the if add event listener, the vanilla. Then normally this is the same structure. You specify the particular event, then you specify the callback function. Okay, so on submit, what do we want to do? We want to build this data. So let me just take the way we did it on the modal. Okay, same thing here. Let's say we created the form data, right? So let me just copy this and paste it here. Okay, so we created form data, but this time around we don't have bio. What we have is MSG, right? So we have MSG and an extra field called subject. We've not even named the subject. Subject, okay, it's supposed to be tests. Type is test, then we'll call it subject, okay, as that's the ID, okay, subject. It's label for subject, okay. So now here we have subjects, okay, subjects, okay. Then here we have MSC, okay, that's message. And this one is supposed to be a comma, okay. Now since we are using jQuery, huh? Since we are using jQuery, get element by ID, okay, all the get element by ID. We're going to change that to jQuery pattern by saying dollar, okay. So when we say dollar sign, then inside it we simply put hash because we are using this. So when we say hash, then in jQuery we don't need to say dot value, okay. We don't need to say dot value. Rather, jQuery has a val method. Okay. So you see the reason why I say I don't want to delete that so that you can be comparing how you do how you did it while using vanilla and how you did it while using jQuery. Okay. Okay. Using jQuery. I don't want to use vanilla here, so no need to comment now. You know that everything here is jQuery. Using jQuery. Okay. Which one? This one? Since it's the last thing, I don't need to put comma. Since it's the last element of that object. Okay? So I don't need to comma there. So with this, if we log, let's log and see if we will get exactly what we want. Okay? We're logging the form data. Okay? So with this, we check our contact us, our console here, refresh this style. Sorry, let me remove that. It's that. Okay. So let's say we enter some values here. Let's say we place a subject. Please help us. Please help us. Okay. Then we have a message. Let's say we need your assistance. Okay. Now when I send this, okay, I'm supposed to prevent the form from submitting. Okay. So how do I do that? I'll do it exactly the way I did it in JavaScript. I'll put an event handler here, and I'll use it to handle the events by saying event default. Okay, exactly the way you did it, your vanilla. Okay, so with that, refresh our form. I'll put everything the way we did it before. Okay, this helps us. Okay, so we do this. We prevented the form from submitting. Now you see, we got everything we need. Okay, so since we've got everything we need here, uh, we have to create a table for the contact. Okay, so we have to create a table for the contact. So we go to web class. We already have a user table. So what I'm going to do is, since the data are close to each other, that is, the form in the user table are closely related to the contact table, just some few differences. So I will simply I'll copy the user table. So I'll go to operations. I will see something like copy table. So copy table to, okay, sorry, not copy database. I have to select the table, sorry. Select the user table, then go to operations. Okay, now uh, I will see copy table to, if I want to copy to another database, I'll simply select the database. Since I still need it in the web class, I'll just leave the web class. Okay, then I'll say contacts. Okay, okay, copy table to contacts. Okay, now I need just the structure. I don't need the data that I'm disturbing it. Just need the structure of the table. Okay, so when I click on that, I simply click on go to create a new table with contacts here that have exactly the same thing with this. Okay, so what I'll simply do is to remove some things and add some things. So we're going to delete the avatar. We don't need the avatar. So I'll drop the avatar from the table. Then I'm going to add two new columns. Okay, sorry, I have to rename this. Okay, so I click on change here, and I rename this to description, right? That's the message, okay? So I'm simply say this is the message, okay? It's also not the book. I'm not changing anything there. So the what's remaining is I need a subject. So I add one extra field after, let's say, after the phone number, okay? So it should be created after the phone number. So that is the subject, okay? So subject to be vacant. The length value, let's just say 300. Okay. Default does not have default. It should not be null as well. So I think this is okay. So we click on save and it's saved. So if we check our structure now, we have the subject after the phone number and the message. Then every other thing. Is a normal ID. So talk about the ID. Okay. So now I would like to add one field to it. Okay. Now the field, I'll add it after the message. Okay. Now what this field will do is this field will add it as a string. I can add it as a time, depending on how I want to function my database. Okay? So what I'll do is let's just add it as, let's say, an implemented pattern. That is the option if I have read or not. Okay? So pay attention. So if I put something like status, okay? The status, now I will select the data type will be enum. Okay? This enum, now the value here will be constant value. That means I can determine what are the values that will be there. Okay? So I put some strings, separate them with comma. So the first one, I'll put, let's say, red, okay, comma. Now put another one, red, okay, comma. Then I'll put another one. Let's say reply, comma. Okay. So after I added them there, now I'll add a default. The default will be on red. That means when the message comes in, like automatically it's on red. It's not red. So I click on save to save this. So assuming I'm trying to insert data into this and I come to this status, you're going to see that it's option. Okay? So it's not something like this that you enter the value. That means you cannot enter value into it. You only choose from the one that will value. Yes. So that is it. So, but from our SQL statement, you can simply assign simply assign a string into it. But the string must be among those provided data. So now what I'm going to do here now is this. From here, now that you know that we are getting a value, now that you know that we are getting our value from the form, okay? So what we will do is to send data. This is data. Okay? So now, like what we did yesterday when we were sending data, we have to do extra configuration on the fetch method. Okay? We have to do extra configuration on the fetch method. But using Ajax, it's very easy. Okay? You can simply the same Ajax, the same way we did the Ajax here. Okay? You can simply do it. Okay? Now, I'll simply call Ajax here. And this time around, if I don't need to specify, okay, I can still leave it there. Okay? But it's not really necessary. Okay? Because by default, what's coming back will come as a test. Okay? So here, I'll specify where the method first. Okay? Now we'll be using post method to send the data. Okay? Now when we're sending data to, we have to create a file on our backend. And send data and save it. So we simply create a new file on the backend. We call it let's call it save underscore feedback. Or let's say save contact. Okay? Let's say save contact dot php. Okay, so this is where we sending the data to. Okay, so our this thing will not be backend slash. That's our okay. So now this is how we receive the data. We receive it back in form of JSON. Okay, then we have our success function. Okay, now success we create a function just like what we've done before here. Okay, our response now here. Okay, so now that just the way you have success here. You know, in the other one, when we're using fetch, I told you first First day I introduced French to you, I forgot to reply. I told you that there's a catch method. Then there's an error. Okay? jQuery also have an error method. In case of there's an error, you can say error. Okay? This is also a function, okay, that can receive three parameters. The first one is the jQuery XHR. That is the XML request. That will contain everything about the request. Okay? I can just call it SHR. Okay? Now the second one is the status, which is usually a string. So I can say the status. Okay? And I can say the last one is the error train. And the particular error that was thrown. I can say error. Okay? So I'm going to talk about this later. XML okay? So I'll talk about this later. I'm going to show what. Now, on our success method, let's just log the sources. Okay? And let's just log the response rather. Okay? Let's log the response. Okay? Now, what will I do here? Close that window. What are we doing? So if we go to our save contact, create our PHP, and echo something, let's say echo error. Okay? Now, we refresh our form, let's send a message. Let's check our network. Okay. You see, okay, we've not sent the data. Go to this our response, giving us hello. Okay. So for our request payload, there's no payload yet request because we've not attached the data to it. Okay. So here, in jQuery, you can simply attach data by having a data key like this. Then you pass it from data. Okay. Now here, I don't do anything like because automatically, please, so like I was saying, we can simply just put the data assign the data to it. Okay? So we assign the data to it just like that. Then you need to simplify your data. Okay? Because this, yes, just assign this one that I have one into this data. So you refresh your page, you send data, going to see what the difference. Just the way they were sent yesterday when we simplified them. Okay? So now, another thing again is how to receive them here. Okay? Now, for instance, since this guy is a post method, we can simply say, let's say full name as a PHP variable is equal to dollar underscore post. Okay? We say dollar underscore post. We can simply pass the full name, this is okay, into it. Okay? And say notice. So for instance, if you echo the full name, like yesterday when we were trying to use this on the fetch, it was giving us undefined variable. Okay, so let's see if it is still the undefined here. So I click on send, then we check our response and get the full name. You see? So with this, we don't need to do any extra something. Okay? Simply get the data very quickly from our backend. So with this, you can simply just get all the data that you want to get. Okay? So I'll simply, to make it easier, so let's copy where we've done something like that before. So what we just simply do is this. Okay. So I'll simply paste this. Okay. So what I'll do is in this place, let's say dollar underscore post. Anywhere we have data, we're going to replace it with dollar underscore post. Okay. So we don't have to get it. Okay. So another thing again we also need is not complete. Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. We have to change from bio to message. Okay. Then we also have to add a subject, right? Subject. I think that's all right. Message. Okay, it's MSG. MSG, yes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, subject. Okay. So and this one can also be message. This part is what is sent. These ones are just variables. And you declare your PHP. Okay? So nothing spoil like this. Because these are the PHP variables. But these are what you send from your output. Okay? So now another thing we need is we need to do a connection, right? You have to let us paste it here. Okay? So we paste our connection. Okay? Now after pasting the connection, we simply do our query, right? So let me just copy. I'm just copying on this so that both will be easier. So what we're going to do is we are inserting, yes, inserting into our table name this time around is contact. Okay. So the name of our this is contact. So let's copy it. So we insert into contact. Okay. The full name, email, phone, the subject, okay, and the message. Okay, subject, message. Now, full name, email, phone, subject, and message. Okay, according to how we have them in our contact table. Okay, so likewise, this will be our subject, right? Okay, we have the message. Okay, so we have subject message. So we run insert variable. Okay, this I just change the variable. So contact insert, okay? Okay, insert to this string. Okay? Then that means this guy also change. This is just a variable. Just a variable. I can just even say query string. Uh-huh. So that's a variable, it doesn't really matter. I can even move this whole thing there and remove this guy. That means I don't have this guy. I just put it directly into it. It still work. Okay? I need to put it inside. Okay? Let's say I cut this here, remove this, put it, paste it. It still work. Okay? So if it starts else, okay? If it starts like I told you, you can just say if it starts like here, set okay, if it starts here. So we can still do if it starts equals true because it's supposed to return true. Okay? on okay. Okay, let's just copy this whole thing, okay, to save our time. Okay, to say uh, let's just say this a customer submitting a contact message to you. So you have to give the customer a positive message. Okay, let's just say your feedback was received and it is being processed. Okay, let's say you get back as soon as possible. Normally, the normal in the normal system, you know how you format your message. Okay, so in case there's an error, let's just copy this and unexpected error. Okay, let's just add it there. So if you watch what I'm doing, I'm just copying code. That means it's the same thing I'm doing. Okay, the same thing I'm doing. I'm just copying, replacing code. So with this, let's see if our okay, we'll have to handle the response. Okay, so if our response by default, if we save this, our response is going to have a status success, right? So we're simply going to check the response here. So if else, okay, if our response, okay, dot status equal to success, okay, now what do we do? Okay, we can simply just give a message. Let's just use an alert. Okay, now alert, since we have a message coming back, we can simply work with this response message, right? So we simply say response, okay, dot what message, right? Okay. Now in this case, even if it's wrong, you see alert the response of message. Okay. But most times where we get an error, since we added this HTTP error here, okay, most times we are going to get the error here. Okay. So what we simply do here is this. Okay. Let's first of all log. Let's log the error itself. Okay. Let's log the error itself. So we'll see this, but first of all, let us go with the code. So in our contact form, fresh our page, then we send, okay, there's something else we need to do. If it's successful, we have to reset the form, right? So jQuery also made it easier for us to reset the form at once. So we can simply call the form, that's target the form again, dot, now we'll trigger an event. This method will trigger any event we want it to trigger. Okay, now we want to trigger form reset. That's all. Okay, so automatically this will trigger the reset event of the form. Okay, you normally the form have reset event just as you have submit events. Like for instance now, if I have a button, I think I've showed you that before, but we're doing HTML. If I say type reset, you click on this button to reset the form, right? Huh? So that means the form have reset events. So that's what we are triggering there. So if we trigger this reset event, it's going to reset the form. Okay? So on success. So we refresh again, then we try to send this. So we say your feedback was received and it's being processed. We get back to you yourself. It's a message coming from our backend. Click on this, the entire form is reset. Check our database. We just click on there to see a message. Okay, so see how simple everything can be while using jQuery. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to create from our dashboard where we are going to manage this feedback that I've gotten from the users. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to do.